On the cutting edge of societal evolution, Rush Limbaugh having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. It's an interesting take. Why Obama is pitied. It's Kyle Smith in the New York Post. He does movie reviews now and then. He writes on Sundays. Here's how he starts the piece. 2 hours after getting drunk on the rhetorical moonshine served up by Bill Clinton on Wednesday night, delegates and hacks won't stop believing there's a decent place to get a real drink in this dismal southern burg of Charlotte. So we're stumbling thirstily along South Tryon Street at 1:30 in the morning when a hunched lone figure is stopped by an excitable young woman. Guy's dressed all in black, scraggly beard, greasy hair, tiny frame. So aggressively meek, he's got to be a celebrity of some sort. Looks like the rough draft they threw out when they were making Johnny Depp. Girls in iridescent cocktail dresses and freshly pressed hair have a better sense for these things than I. They flock around the little guy brandishing iPhones. He poses without smiling and then moves along, hands in pockets, the weight of fame pressing his head downward. Who was that, we ask? Somebody says it was Jared Leto. Jared Leto, a rock star, love object, monster, Obama supporter. Then he moves on. That's how he began the piece, just to set it up. In 2004, Obama said, "We worship an awesome God in the blue states. But a flock of the faithless thrice cried no at the convention when asked whether a single mention of God should be added to the party platform. They booed when their voice vote was ignored. To put it mildly, booing God doesn't look good when the world is watching, and the pundits were forced to hit pause on 30 years of asserting conventions are phony stage shows to admit that the Democrats had come up with something spontaneous, and it was spontaneous combustion. Who boos God? Who makes a fuss over one harmless word? Were they worried about offending the United Association of Satanists? Does Lucifer have a back channel link to Valerie Jarrett? Obama didn't mention the Lord, except for the God bless you stuff at the end, but he did quote scripture. Turns out the part he finds intriguing is the 7 words that sound most like one of his campaign slogans: ours is a future filled with hope. But according to the speech, ours is a future filled with the past. Thousands of world boiled down to 3, more of the same. Obama promised more unfunded investments in the poor, in health care, clean energy, education, regulations. He issued prickly defenses of previous bailouts and handouts. We reinvented a dying auto industry, he claimed, except he ignored Ford. Biden runs out, says we saved 1 million jobs in the auto industry. The only problem is there are only 700,000 in the whole industry. All auto manufacturing in this country combined employs 700,000. Saving GM and Chrysler saved 1 million out of 700,000 must be Clinton arithmetic. Nor would GM cease to exist, as Biden said. Had it gone through an ordinary bankruptcy, simply would have restructured and shed more of the union obligations that are a hazard to its long-term health. And far from thriving, Biden said GM's on top of the world. GM's about to fall into 3rd place. Its stock has been about as attractive as Groupon's. Taxpayers got the sticker shock at $25 billion, and for that, they didn't even send you a Malibu. Why was the crowd cheering any of this? There was a Obama backing pack emblazoned a bus, and emblazoned on its side was an elaborately painted image of the president and the legend, "Stop disrespecting my president." You see, people didn't feel that President Bush was them. To put the goal of defeating Obama so bluntly, like singling out the nation's most successful black man, felt personal, felt like disrespect. His point here is that Obama is still pitied because he's the first black president in a bad economy, and people, Romney, everybody running around talking about getting rid of this guy, and people feel sorry for him. Obama is unlike any candidate in the way many millions of his supporters feel a personal connection to him, one that can be closely tied to race. To many of them, any knock on Obama is a knock on all of them, the entire group. Voters know or think they know that Obama means well, but they also know he's failed, and Democrats know this too. Even many white moderates who convene in focus groups speak in hushed tones of their personal fondness for Obama, or at least for his story. Catering to them is a group of the most polite and delicate attack ads in history, in which ordinary people first praise Obama before announcing their support for his challenger. They say he's trying, he's disappointing, but the fact of the matter is that Obama is pitied. And Romney needs to tread carefully because of Obama's race. He must not make things personal. He must not indulge in name-calling of any kind. Can't turn Obama into a victim. Yet, in a sense, Obama is the nation's number one victim of the absurdly grandiose mythology that he encouraged. I found it an interesting take that his real point here is that the majority of Obama's supporters are not rah-rah, want more. They just feel sorry for the poor guy. It's founded in his apparent likability, and it seems like the world's ganged up on the poor guy, and so forth. They just feel sorry for him, and that's why Romney better not go. That's why race is still a factor. He's still the first black president. Any criticism makes him a victim, and people in this country rally to victims. I wish I had more time to develop this, but I've got to take a time out here. We'll be back and continue.